Hey everybody, it's Johnna, and today is March 31st, 2019, and today is Transgender Day of Visibility. So for today, I thought that I would share my story with all of you. Before I do that, I wanted to give a little bit of information about what it means to be transgender and kind of what that feels like. So being transgender, that means that the gender you identify with is not what you were assigned at birth. So in my case, I was assigned male at birth, and I identify and live my life as a woman. Um, and what that feels like is your innate sense of self, your soul. You know what gender you are. And for 99% of the population, that lines up with what society says you are. You were born and they said it's a boy, and you live your life as a male. Or it's a girl and you live your life as a woman. For transgender people, they say it's a boy, and then you feel as though you're a woman. It's your innate sense of self, and the best way I can put it is your instincts. So growing up, you just have these feelings and desires that I'm supposed to be hanging out with the girls. I'm one of the girls. Um, or a good example is I would go into like Target and see some article of clothing, it might have been a dress, or going through the women's section and think that's really cute, you know, and then quickly realize, no, you put those thoughts away. That's wrong. You're not a girl. Your body, is not a girl, and so there's this conflict. And over the years, it becomes more and more stressful and painful to deal with, till you get to the point that I got to, and decide to live authentically. So let's jump into my story. So my earliest memory is getting caught by my mother dressing in her clothes. This is probably like 1987-ish. I was about 3 years old, 3 or 4. And I confirmed with my dad, yeah, this all happened. And at the time they thought it was a phase. And truth be told, that phase never really went away. Throughout my whole childhood, I was always, when I got the chance, dressing up and looking in the mirror and pretending I had long hair and things like that. I just didn't tell anybody. Kind of kept it to myself. For those of you who know me, I think I'm a rule follower. I usually play by the rules and what society expects. I know I have a strong desire to fit in, for sure. Really, most of my life care more about what people thought of me than, what I really wanted to do. So, conform to society, conform to standards, and kind of just played the part I was supposed to play. And some of the early memories I have, and it's funny, as I go through and time goes on, I'm remembering more and more things. Like just the other day, I remembered that for Christmas one year, I really wanted this doll. It was a girl's doll. That I saw a commercial for something similar on TV, actually, and made me like kind of just jump into my memory, like, oh yeah, I really wanted one of those. And I didn't tell anybody. Like, I wouldn't have said that. I probably said I wanted Power Rangers or something. But some of my early memories is I would go to bed, and this is probably the 80s. I was probably, I don't know, 3 to 10 years old, let's say, praying that Congress or the government would change the laws so that I could be a girl. Because I thought that I wasn't a girl because the government dictated that. And so if they just changed the laws, I would be a girl. I would go to bed every night praying that, secretly. I remember in elementary school at Huckleberry Hill, I would quite frequently play with the girls at recess while the boys are playing on the field or whatever. I'd many days be playing jump rope or playing house on the jungle gym. I also remember having a really good friend in first grade, and we spent our days grinding up crayons and making rainbow sparkle dust. And I remember that friend had an all-girl birthday party, and I got invited, and I was super excited. And I remember my mother asking, like, are you sure you want to go to this party? It's all girls. I'm like, yes, I want to go. I remember being super excited. And that type of thing just continued on. When you're young, it's just, you like what you like to do, and when you can get away with it, you get away with it, and embrace that side. So that type of thing just kind of happened as I got older, went through puberty. Those feelings never went away. But what happened is, you become more aware of society, and you pack those feelings away more and more. So I did have, probably through high school, a random box of like girls' clothes that I was able to kind of acquire through someone was throwing something away, and I was able to kind of pull it out of the trash. Or for Halloween 2 years, I dressed up as an old lady once, and then like a little more of a scandalous woman one year. And I remember being super excited, and I never wanted to take that off. And I remember even in high school doing the musicals. One day or not one day, every day you're in the musical, they do all your makeup. And I'm like, oh my God, even though it was stage makeup, it was like, I really felt like, oh my God, like I'm wearing makeup. This is so awesome. So yeah, that happened all through high school. And like I said, I kept it to myself. And if you think about it, society at the time, trans people were really a joke. The only time you'd actually see transgender women is on Jerry Springer type of thing. It's a spectacle. And even though I was young, I think I understood that. And like I said, I'm a rule follower, and I go with the flow. I do. So that's kind of the time we were in. And by the time I got to college, which is 2002, I was really still had those feelings, but I really put a lot of those away. They'd come up. They never really truly went away, but I'd pack those away. And mainly the way I did that was keeping really busy. I for those of you who don't know me that well, I have my bachelor's degree. I almost have essentially a dual major in mathematics and business administration. I have a master's degree in business administration. I was promoted. I worked 2 jobs in college. My mother passed away in 2004. That took up a ton of my time, grieving and dealing with that. We moved to Florida, relocated the family to Florida. In my career, I was really dedicated in my career and put a ton of time and effort into my career, and was promoted to director at the age of 29 at a Fortune 50 company. I am a type A personality, and I just kept myself super busy. And what happened was, around 2015-ish, I ran out of distractions. At that point now, we've had our 2 sons. We adopted John in 2015 through the adoption process. Becca and I went through IVF before that. Again, just a lot of keeping us busy. And then John, we were able to adopt John. And when that happened, master's is done, work is in a place, my career is in a place I wanted to be in. I was really running out of things to keep me super, super busy, to be honest. And not only that, you have in society, it seems like trans people are coming out of the woodwork, and to a point they kind of are, and that's a good thing, because people are being their authentic selves. But I'm seeing now all these people that feel just like I do, and see them get through the process, make it to the other side, and be really happy and be themselves. And that's really hard to ignore. And not only that, those voices, like I said, get louder over time. So now, at that point, I'm in my 30s, and 2015, I would have been 31, and those voices feelings just became deafening, really, where I couldn't ignore it. I was jealous of pretty much every woman I knew. I didn't think it was fair that they get to live as a woman and I don't. Again, seeing other trans women transition, and super jealous of them being with their authentic self. And in November of 2017 November, I took a business trip to Memphis. And on that trip, Netflix recommended, I was watching a movie on the plane, Netflix recommended this documentary about transgender pioneers in England in the I think it was 40s or 50s. Very well known. One of them's a race car driver. She was a race car driver. And I had this sinking feeling watching that, like, oh my God, this is me. I think a lot of trans people have that, we'll just say, oh shit moment. And that was it. That was it on that business trip. So that night I watched some YouTube videos by some trans women, and I literally said out loud in the hotel room that night by myself, oh shit, I think I'm transgender. And once that box is opened, it is really hard to close it. Now I say, like, I see all these people, I was jealous, I was all these things leading up to that point, but what I would do up until then is make excuses. I would tell myself, this is how all guys feel. We all really like women. I'm attracted to women, so that's just all this is. This is just my attraction to women manifesting itself. That's all this is. You're not transgender. You're not a cross-dresser. You're nothing like that. You're just a normal white guy who's married to a beautiful, awesome woman and have a great family. That's what I would tell myself. There's no way I'm transgender. That's everybody else. That's not me. And I believed it. I was able to, and it's crazy because you look back at some of those things and you're like, how do you ignore those? How do you do that? You lied to me. I was in denial. I'm like classic denial. Where it's obvious, if someone knew what all the things that were going through my head, it's clear, yeah, this is, Johnna's transgender. And, to myself, no, I wasn't. No way. That wasn't me. And when I saw that video, I couldn't deny it anymore. And I came home, I think it was like Thursday or Friday, that weekend. I told Becca, I didn't say I was transgender. I said that, I have some feelings about how, I feel like a girl sometimes, or I feel like I need to be more feminine. I feel like I'm pushed too far into this masculine role, and I don't think it's right. And why can't I just wear what I want to wear and do what I want to do? And if I want to paint my nails, why can't I? Like, that type of thing. And so we, at that point, a mini freak out, I'd say, but kind of work through that over a day or so and realize, like, okay, I'm just going to be a little more feminine. Like, I don't need to try to fit into society. And if I'm going to be a little more, of a feminine guy, that's okay. That's okay. And that lasted, I was still excited. So a lot of that time when I did that, I was really excited. I was able to, like, buy leggings. I painted my nails one weekend. What else did I do? I bought some cool soaps or something that smelled really pretty. Just little things that, like, who cares? But to me, it was like, oh my God, I get to embrace and do these things I always wanted to do. So that was so at the same time, though, it was like I wanted more. So by Christmas that year, it was tough. I mean, from November to Christmas, so Thanksgiving to Christmas, it was tough. It was a lot of exciting and difficult too, because I wanted more. And by that point, I kind of went back to, I think I'm transgender. And at that point, I kind of believed my world was going to completely explode. Like, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my family. I'm going to be, like, homeless on the street. Like, this is what's going to happen. And so I weighed my options. And that week, I was off work. And I decided, like, I've got 3 options. Continue the way I am, which I couldn't do. I can transition or say that I'm transgender or pursue that further, which I thought my world was going to explode. Was not an option. Or end my life. That was my solution. And So I decided that next year I wasn't going to make it through the year. And I went online and planned some hiking routes because I like hiking. And I was going to get back into hiking. And I was going to have an accident that summer. Well planned out. No one would know. I just think it's a tragic accident. Sorry. And then by like a couple weeks later, I couldn't even wait that long. So I plan to probably not be around by the end of January. And I know how awful that is because I have a family and people that love me. But I was in the darkest place I'd ever been because I couldn't live like I was anymore. Kind of snapped to those things that I just said, family and people that love me, I definitely weighed on me. And I decided to go see a therapist. I'm so glad I did. It was the best thing I did. And I told her, my 3 options, and she pushed me of why, on option 2, exploring being transgender and transitioning. And I had excuse after excuse why that was a horrible idea and my world would implode. And she challenged all of those with very provoking questions that I had to, really do some soul searching and answer. And through that, I ended up on the path I'm on. And once I kind of admitted, I came home from a therapy session and told Becca, I'm transgender. And her immediate response was, she's like, I was waiting for you to admit that. She's even today she'll admit she was surprised when I did that, but at the same time she knew. And at that point she had a total freak out. Justified, obviously. What's this going to mean? What does this mean for her? What does this mean for our marriage, the kids, all this? What's going to happen? Am I going to transition? Am I going to live as a woman? What does that mean? And quickly, so 24 hours later, we were in the therapist together. And then some of the advice she gave us was, 1, take it day by day. Do you love each other today? Do you still want to be with each other today? Yes or no? And it was always a yes that never changed. And she watched a documentary on Netflix where she saw an older couple, but the wife stayed with the husband. It's now wife. And she said, you know what? I'm attracted to this person. We are soulmates, and that's just the way it is. Like, that's not going to change. It doesn't change. It doesn't mean I'm attracted to women. It doesn't mean I'm a lesbian. It doesn't mean anything. It just means we are best friends. We are soulmates. And I can't imagine living my life with anybody else, and I think that really resonated with her. So every day got better and better and better and easier. There were good days, there were bad days, steps forward, steps back. Jumping ahead, we are like the best place we've ever been in our relationship. We are, we love each other so much. And it's just amazing kind of where we've gotten to. But yeah, she's at that point, as we go through, she's been my rock, really. So I'm very thankful to have her. I don't know how I would have gotten through this without her. So started on this journey, talked a little bit about Becca. I also told a couple of my friends pretty early on, after I told Becca, because Becca needed support. So wanted to tell some of our mutual friends so that she can kind of have some people to talk to too. And so did that, and quickly realized that coming out is a roller coaster and is stressful. So as many of you found out that I was transgender, you found out on Facebook, because after going through half a dozen, maybe probably about a dozen times where you sit with your friends or your family, and we did go through the closest friends and family in person or on the phone, you realize quickly, oh my God, like, I can't handle this. I mean, it's like, you come out to people, you worry, and then things go good, or people goes bad, and then you have questions, and it's just this roller coaster over and over and over and over. So we decided, you know what, let's just rip the Band-Aid off, and I'm going to put it on Facebook. So I did. In January of last year, so a year and 3 months, whatever, I came out on Facebook and told the majority of people, found out that way. And then a couple weeks later, I sent an email to work to a bunch of people that I work with and said what was going on. And then the kids, how we handled them, it was very, if you don't make it a big deal, it's not a big deal type of thing, advice from my therapist. So we try to make it as little as an event as possible. So we just sat them down at dinner and just, hey, you know, Mom, no, now Ma, but, you know, at that point, Dad, feels like a girl sometimes, and he wants to wear girls' clothes and do girls' things. Is that okay? And of course, Wayne's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And, you know, we explained a little bit about what that means. John was a 2 at the time. He doesn't know any different. He's only known me as me. Wayne, we're like, you know, do you have any questions? Yeah. Like, okay, you know, what's your question? You said we're still going to play Xbox later. Are we still going to do that? Like, yes, of course we're going to play. We had a racing game we played on Xbox that night. Oh my God, you got to love kids. And I will say, like, all their friends and just kids we know, like, absolutely seem like they don't care. Like, okay, it's like totally, like, they got bigger things to worry about. Sure, great. They're just indifferent. Like, they don't care. Don't care. Not happy, not sad, just indifferent. Like, okay, you're going to be a girl now. Great. And that has really been true for most of the kids that we deal with. So that's what happened there. And then just some other stuff, you know, through last year was, the first half of the year was, geez, it was a struggle. You know, they say that transition's a marathon. I think I missed the memo, and I thought that it was a sprint because I, like, completely hit the gas. Once I kind of came out, those first couple weeks that I was talking about, they're coming out to people and working through things with Becca. Once we got through that, I was like, okay, let's go. I'm getting laser hair removal, which I did. Started voice lessons, so I don't talk like this anymore. And I was even cracking there. See, I barely ever use that voice now. Started doing my voice. I started hormones. I went shopping, bought some clothes. By March 7th, which is my birthday of last year, I was living as Johnna. Like, I had a wig. I have been playing with makeup. I've been, like I said, I'm doing it. Like, I jumped straight in. And I'm kind of looking back, you know, in all honesty, I wouldn't have done it different. I was at a place where, like, I didn't want to live the way I was living anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. So I just pedal to the metal. Let's go. And so thank you, everyone that kept up, because it was a lot. But I look at that as ripping the Band-Aid off. Let's get it over with. Let's get done and get on with life, because that's what I want to do. Live life. Live life as me. And I'm excited to do that. Change my name in May. Change my gender marker on my license, my passport, my birth certificate. So I am Johnna Sophia Healy, female, pretty much at every government agency there is. So there. So it's been, and I would say, I mean, those are the small things. Throughout the year, though, it's been like, there's a huge mental piece of that, like being peaceful with yourself and learning patience and learning, you know, who you are, what you like, your style, your confidence, regaining confidence. I mean, talk about killing my confidence. Oh my God. Like, my confidence was in the toilet. So really had to, like, work to kind of get my confidence back. And I did that probably by about September or October. I was feeling pretty confident. By the time the new year went around this January, I was like rocking and rolling. I felt like I am like living life. I went to this conference for the industry conference in pharmaceuticals about a month ago, and I felt like I was like back in the saddle. Like, I was just there, you know, and It's been great. It's been absolutely great. And it's not been all like sunshine and rainbows, obviously. There's just some tough days, and um, some days you don't like the way you look, or you think that your voice is horrible. That's a big, big thing for me that I still struggle with almost daily, is I absolutely struggle to hear a female voice, which I know is absolutely crazy, um, from what I'm told. But yeah, I'm so, so happy I got to where I am now. And my friend, I was talking to a couple weeks ago, kind of looking back of this past year, I'm really close with this friend, and he said, when you started the year and you started living life with Johnna, you looked like you were playing the part, like you were trying to play the part and figure everything out. And now you look like you're living life as a woman. I mean, I'm there. And I never thought of it that way. And I really did. In the beginning days, I just felt like awkward. This is all new. And it was exciting. But it was like playing the part, trying to fake it till you make it to a point. I mean, it felt so awesome and natural and great to be myself, but at the same time, like awkward and, oh my God, I shouldn't have wore this. I have a lot to learn. So kind of got through that stuff, found my style. That was a big thing that took all year. But I'm there. And I feel good and really living life. I will say that with all of that, I feel like I have a friend that on their, I think Facebook or Instagram, said that they have a male accent. And I really like that saying, because I feel like I have a male accent. So I say that. I got the other side. I've learned female mannerisms and how to talk and how to look and how to act and all that fun stuff. But I feel like I've got this, some of it is learned behavior. I've got this male accent, and how much do people pick up on that? And I'm kind of at peace with that. I like who I am. So, anyway, that's all I've got. I knew this was going to be a long video. It's almost a half hour. So if you stuck with it, appreciate it. Happy Sunday and happy Trans Day of Visibility. If you have any questions for me, always reach out. I'm an open book. Unless I heard a trans person say this, and I thought it was a great saying. You can ask me anything, as long as it's not about genitals or my sex life, because then I'll ask about yours, and it's going to get really awkward. In all seriousness, ask me anything. I don't care. With that, have a great Sunday, and I hope that everyone has a great day and a great week, and take care, everybody. Bye.